We should get to the Lee Mason story that emerged yesterday. He's left his role at the PGMOL, and this was, of course, all after what happened in the game between Arsenal and Brentford last weekend.
Indeed, no, just 7 days on from his incident where he forgot to draw the offside lines on when checking for Ivan Toney's.
Did I say Dame Laura Woods, by the way? Somebody said.
No, I was going to say.
You should have said.
I did hear that. But,
well, she wins every other award, so she might as well be a dame. Anyway, sorry, Dame Laura Davies, I should have said. Apologies. Let's quickly move on.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So Lee Mason, he has left his role a week after forgetting to draw the lines as a VAR official for Ivan Toney's equaliser against Arsenal last week. Howard Webb apologised insistently. Arteta clearly has been furious, and he was initially told not to ref any games VAR as official this weekend, and that was going to be that, but then. It's been a mutual decision, the PGMOL have said, and it was quite a short and blunt statement. It simply says that VAR Lee Mason has departed the organisation. He was a Premier League referee for 15 years and oversaw 287 matches. We'd like to thank Lee for his dedicated service and wish him all the best. It has happened very quickly, and I think this just shows the direction that Howard Webb wants to take. I think he feels that VAR for too long has almost been a laughingstock in the Premier League for the last couple of years, and he's now suggesting that these sorts of errors just aren't acceptable in the game.
See, I would understand where you're coming from if then John Brooks, who was the VAR in charge of Palace Brighton, and also Neil Swarbrick even, who was also the VAR in charge of West Ham Chelsea, if they equally all were dealt with the same. I find this very odd, this story. I feel like maybe there's more to it that we don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure. That's just my assumption. But it just seems a bit OTT.
Well, I agree totally. It's like, well, you got to back people. And yes, he's made a mistake. He's made a blunder. Okay, there was other people who are involved in that blunder as well. And I think if you're just going to go literally hardcore on the decision to, well, if they make a mistake like that, then that doesn't really encourage people to be on the boards or be referees.
Why would you want to be a referee if you
you're going to make mistakes? Now, obviously, there is really bad ones, which that was, but I feel part of me feels like, well, okay, Lee Mason was punished, and then hopefully you won't make that mistake again. If it was a continual offender, which some people might argue he is.
Well, what I would say is that this isn't the first time he has been stood down this season. Back in September, he disallowed Joe Willock's goal when Newcastle played Crystal Palace. So I think the sense is that he made his first error and was brought back in, and it's happened again, and that's the reason why they've taken this decision.
It's not even 3 strikes and out then. It's 2 strikes and out.
2 strikes and out. Yeah.
It is hard because I just sort of think, and look, it might be mutual consent, so he might actually be happy to walk away.
I think he probably is. He's probably thinking,
because
really
the spotlight's been on him and he's perhaps not enjoyed it. But I do think it's sad that someone's career can end like that on a human error at the end of the day. And of course, there'll be fans and there'll be people listening in right now that are absolutely joyous about it and probably think more of the same should happen to other referees that make these mistakes. But you have to remember that this is a game where there are going to be mistakes that are made. Players make mistakes all the time. We don't tend to drive them out of the game. We don't tend to drive them out of the game that often. So I just think it's a bit sad that it's come to that, really. But equally, we know that he made a mistake. It was a costly mistake. I do also understand that. Although, what I will say very quickly, and this has been getting on my goat for a while, the fact that Mikel Arteta has kept going on about give us our 2 points back, that has riled me a lot. I think that's very deluded and very disrespectful by Mikel Arteta to assume that with 20 minutes or so to go that you were going to win that game against Brentford. I know I'm going to say it's because my team, but that has really riled me, and I think that's totally wrong and, like I say, disrespectful to a Brentford team that had more chances in the game in terms of, if you like, your XG, for example, and just why should you assume that you would have won that game? That's what I don't understand as well.